Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, October 18th. It is 6:21 right now. Market's going to open in about 9 minutes. So give me a few moments to finish setting this up and then we can get started shortly. All right, a couple more things here to update. And we should be good to go. All right, let's go, guys. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, solid. Looks good, looks good. And I think we are good to go. All right, so I'll get a few minutes for people to make their way in. As people join into the room, I'm going to go ahead and mark up the nearby zones. So you got one right here, one right there, and one down here. So I'll just leave it at that for now. And I'll give it a few moments for people to make their way in. I'm going to go ahead and mark up the... Actually, I think we're good with this right here. So I'm going to go over here to the clean chart and mark up the high lows so that we can identify market structure here. See who's here. Morning, Karen. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Peter. Morning, everybody. So let's see. We'll give a few more minutes for people to make their way in. I'm going to go ahead and mark up these high lows over here. So I'm not sure if you guys have been applying the high-low quick scalp, out of the New York session. But Maddie was basically forward testing it throughout London. And he said that literally every high-low quick scalp hit full TP. So, I mean, basically, you can apply that strategy whenever the volatility is super high, and as long as you trade in the direction of a bias. So for me, I accidentally took a sell yesterday and I lost, but I took 2 buys after and I made it right back. The reason why I lost the trade is because I didn't look at the overall bias. I mean, the bias is so strong for a buy. I shouldn't have taken the sell at all. That's, the only reason. It's my mistake. I just hopped in. I didn't think about it. So, bias is definitely of importance when taking a trade, especially the high-low scalp. So, I mean, if it's neutral or if it's kind of mixed, then you can probably take it both ways. But if it's like super strong in one direction, then you should probably just stick to one direction. So I'll go ahead and take a look at the market today and see what the overall bias is. Right now, I drew this like about an hour ago. Super bullish still at that. Yeah, Maddie, I still keep it at 200 for now. But we'll see. I mean, you guys see how the market moves. It's currently in a range right now, it looks like, but it is starting to move around. So we'll see where this goes. So let's see who else is here. So morning, Deswell. Morning, Marco. Morning, Peter. Morning, Sir. Morning, everybody. So let's see what I'm missing over here. I think that's it for right now. So I've marked up the nearby zones here on the markup chart. On the clean chart, I marked up structure over here. So you can see that price is in a big range, but it's attempting to break out of it. So we'll see where this goes. This is the overall direction. So let me take a look at sentiment real quick. Sentiment is at 50-50. So it's pretty neutral right now. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they are currently 553 points in the green. Other than that, 4 hour is bullish. 1 hour is bullish as well. 30 minutes bullish, 15 minutes bullish, and the 10-minute here is bullish as well. So I'll probably be looking for some buys here. I don't know if I'll be looking for sells with regard to the high-low quick scalp, because you do have to have some sort of bias. Same with the variations. You need to have some sort of bias to take those types of trades. Otherwise, I'll also be looking for the high-low quick, the SR rejection entries. The trend meter is currently blue right now, so there's no entries for that. Price is currently in a big range, so the SR rejection would probably be the best strategy to be applying right now. Once market starts moving directional again, we can look at the high-low quick scalp or the variation V1 or V1 continuation. So yeah, thanks, Maddie. Let me check the news as well. So Maddie said there was news at 6:15. Let me check real quick. Today is Tuesday, October 18th. There was news here at 6:15. Yeah, it was both positive. So we got news at 7 coming up, and then we had news at 6:15, which was right over here, which ironically, I mean, it shouldn't be ironic to you guys anymore, but it was positive news and it ended up going straight up. So, go figure. This is 6:15. US news. Positive news, but it went straight up from like that point. So you can see how this candle literally bounced directly off here and then went straight up. So that's news price right there. And then we have news coming up over here at 7. Thanks, Maddie, for the heads up. So here we go. As price pushes back up, we have a bullish bias, so it's actually beneficial. Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys. So market is opening in about 39 seconds. The market opens, we'll see where price goes. Again, I'll mark up the breakout. Some people have asked me if we're still taking the breakout. We're not taking the breakout yet because the market hasn't officially confirmed that it's moving directional. It's moving directional on some days, and then some days it goes back into a range. The hard part about identifying it for the actual day is that there's a lot of news that have been coming out. Today, earnings were released, pre-market and aftermarket. So you want to be a bit careful about, which direction you take trades, because a lot of this stuff could be corrections or continuations. So like, for example, right here, price is basically correcting. Price came down a little bit and it came back up. Market is now open. So in order to have a breakout here, you'd be looking for a strong green candle. I'm not necessarily looking to take one, but if it does come up here, I will mark it up. You guys got to keep in mind that it's October 18th. So we just entered the fall season officially. It's been like maybe a month now into the official fall season with regard to normal seasons, but for the trading market, it's not necessarily moving on schedule. Right? Typically the market would move pretty smooth by now, but it's still moving a little bit crazy. So you might want to hold off on these breakouts if and when they do come up. So we will see where it goes from there. But yeah, if you guys are rejoining the room right now or just joining the room, I was telling everybody that Maddie was forward testing the high-low quick scalp during London session, and literally every trade hit. So if you guys want to trade it outside of the US session, New York session, just make sure that you trade when volatility is high. So just one way to identify that is to look at the spread, make sure that it's like below like 280, 240 around there. And that'll typically give you, an indication that volatility is high, spreads low, easy to get in and out of these trades. Maria said, sorry, if it's 7:15 news is marked at open. Yeah, thanks, Aaron. So yeah, news candle is marked at the open of the candle, Maria, because you want to see how price reacts to the news. So it'd be on the open. Deswell is asking, do you have a video on how to trade the high-low scalp? You'd have to watch the mentoring session from yesterday, Deswell. So it's on the session from yesterday. Oh, Maria said have this marked at the end. Yeah, thanks, Maria, for correcting me on that. There we go. Yeah, that's what I meant earlier when I said that price. It was ironic that price came down because price was positive. That's what I meant, not that it pushed up. It was that price is positive, but then it came down slightly before bouncing off the structure here and continuing up. So yeah, thanks, Maria, for correcting me on that. All right, so there's no entries here yet for, I mean, anything really. There's no breakout. Breakout's supposed to happen within the first 5 minutes. There is no SR rejection. I mean, possible SR rejection if we get a sell signal with a moderate red candle, but the trend meter down here keeps shifting. So you want to be careful about looking at any of these as a, possible entry. The zones here are starting to get spread out a little more. This one's gone. All right, so this may be never mind. So it's a little bit tricky right here. If this closes as a moderate green candle, this would technically be an SR rejection. The trend meter down here is changing super often though, so you want to be careful. You might want to just skip this area here, guys, because the trend meter here keeps shifting. Sometimes it'll be green, sometimes it'll be blue. Last thing you want to do is enter a trade, and then it changes at the last second, right? So in order for you to take this trade here for an SR rejection, price would have to close like up here, which does not look like it's going to close around that area. Yeah, in order for the trend meter to turn green, your close would have to be like somewhere around this area. So again, right here, it's still a possibility of an SR rejection entry, but the trend meter down there is continuously changing. So you probably want to hold off and wait for it to like actually be established, like where it's like consistently green or it's consistently red. Because it is it's just bouncing around a lot. Nice. Deswell said 500 past his MFF. Nice, Deswell. So yeah, you just need about one trade and should be good. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and mark up opening price. Thanks for reminding me, Patrick. So opening price is right here. All right. So no entry here. I mean, this would technically be the breakout. Not one that I would take because the overall bias is strong for a buy. So I wouldn't take this for a sell. I'd probably take it for a buy, the opposite, because you can see here, I marked up the overall direction. Everything here is pointing towards a buy. That's why I was only looking for a buy there. The retail sentiment's 51% short. Fundamentals are up 600 points. 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, and 10 minute are all bullish. So I wouldn't take the sell here. When taking the daily entry, you still have to look for the overall direction. You don't want to just take a blind trade. So for example, here, even though you got to sell here for a breakout, you'd probably want to do the opposite and take a buy because the overall bias was very strong for the other direction. And this is why you want to be very careful about taking entries here, because fake outs like this will happen. But they come down, they make it seem like price is going to come down, and then it just shoots right back up to stop people out. So huge spike to the upside right there. Let's take a look at the sentiment. Sentiment is 51% long. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they're super high. They're up about 636 points. So I definitely wouldn't be looking for sells today because everything's pointing towards a buy. The thing you want to be careful for here is going to be the actually, this would have been an action. No, it wouldn't. It actually would be a V1, but the candle here is too big and it's at opening price. So there's a V1 right there, double body. And the only problem here is that there was a sessions right there, or not a sessions, an opening price. Yeah, plus the candle's too big. So huge red flag there. Candle's too big. Opening price, but this would be a V1 rejection or a V1 variation. You have a double body there. Overall bias is bullish, so you could have taken that there. Pending buy signal as well. All right, so we'll continue looking for trades here. Unfortunately, you couldn't take the V1 here. That'd be the only trade that came available. There's a lot of back and forth movement right here. You can see how the range keeps bouncing. These high lows keep coming up very often. So you got one here, one here, one here. You typically don't want to take trades when there's high lows that are coming back and forth like this, unless you're looking for an SR rejection. So looking over here, looks like it's starting to establish, an actual range here. So there goes a range right there. Price is going sideways. So since price is ranging right now, what we would probably want to take are SR rejections, right? We don't have any entries right now. The problem with this here is we're looking for buys for SR rejections, but the opening price is like literally right there. So what we would need to see happen here is we need price to push up higher, retrace right here, reject off this structure, and provide us an SR rejection from that point there. So that's what I'm looking for right there for SR rejection. The reason why we're looking for an SR rejection is because price is currently ranging. If you guys sat in on the mentoring session yesterday, broke down, when to apply each strategy. The V1 variation, V1 continuation, and the high-low quick scalp are meant for directional movement. So when price is moving directional, you take those types of trades. When price is going sideways, like it's moving right here, you take the SR rejection. If you guys are not familiar with how to identify market structure, you just go here and you just draw up the high lows to identify where everything's sitting. We have a possible SR rejection right here. This needs to close as a moderate green candle. It can't come down and touch opening price. If it does, it's going to invalidate the move because it's going to fall under the red flags. So we got about 40 seconds left on this candle right here. Got about 30 seconds. You got to watch the wick on top, guys. So make sure that you wait until the candle actually closes. You don't enter too early because the wick here on top is just way too big. Now prices come down and touch the opening price. No longer entry there for the SR rejection. So touched open. Now we got to skip it. Yeah, Patrick said could be about the 5th touch of this area though. Yeah, it's going to be really risky. You can see this area here. So this is where price keeps getting pulled back to opening price, right? So you can see how a lot of manipulation is happening right here because there's a lot of fake outs coming up here, right? Price will come up, touch it, spike down. Price will come back up, touch it, spike down. Price will come up, fake out right here, make people think that price is going up, and then it comes right back down below. So you don't want to trade where any of these horizontal lines are. So I draw these lines here on the chart. We have the blue line, which is opening price, pink line, which is news price, purple, red, and green, which is the sessions. You don't want to trade around any of those areas because you can see right here where all these fake outs are happening, right? And the movements right here are just way too big. So if you mark the range here, price is moving about 750 pips. If your stop loss is 300 pips, it's easy for you to get stopped out before it hits your TP. So you want to be careful about taking these types of entries here. So market's still kind of wacky right now. I was expecting it to move a little more, but it doesn't look like it. Let's see if there's any CNBC news right now. A couple of things to look out for over here. Like right here, they even mentioned, is it real rally or not? They're not sure if this is really just pushing or if it's based off news. My guess is that it's based off news. Microsoft just laid off a bunch of people. Ukraine war is still going on. Netflix earnings later today after market, and difference between the COVID vaccines. Since we're going to flu season, it's gonna be hard to determine, whether people have the flu or whether they have the COVID. So, we'll see how that makes price move around, because obviously we have a lot of pharmaceutical companies in US30, and we'll just see where it takes us. But right now, you just got to be patient, guys. Again, there's no entry for us to take right here. The there's no buy signal. So with no buy signal here, you can't take any buys with regard to the SR rejection. We'll just call it SR scalp, guys, because the SR rejection is it's just too big of a word. We'll just say SR scalp for the SR rejection entry, and then we'll say high-low quick scalp for the high-low quick scalp strategy, and then variation V1 or V1 continuation for the other. I just want to be quick so that you guys can identify these entries and take these entries, super quickly when they do come up. So the trend meter down here is still kind of bouncing around. Yeah, it's not stable at all. You can see here that it keeps changing. It goes from red to green to red to green to blue. See if there's anything else over here. All right, still nothing here. Trend meter is still blue. All right, trend meter is now red. I'm going to keep going back over here to see what the bias is looking like. All right, so shifted up slightly at 52% short. So this is really tricky here, guys, because you guys can see that a lot of retail traders are starting to switch to the short side. So with that said, this might drop temporarily or slightly, and then price will just continue to rally. So there's something to keep in mind there. 10 minutes still bullish. There's just no direction at all. You can see here from the range that I drew, it's still in this range. So price has been within this range from basically for the last 25 minutes. Price did fake out a couple times here, fake out to the top, fake out to the bottom, but it pulled right back in. We'll see if this continues to hold or if it continues to bounce around. So let's see where this goes here. Looking over here on the 3-minute, there's nothing here. If this does close as a sell signal, this could be a possible counter trend trade on the 3-minute. I think Dejan, you mentioned that earlier. Possible counter trend trade there. Same with the 5-minute here. If it does close at any point. And over here for the 10, same thing. I think this would probably be one thing to look at that will probably dictate when price is going to swing back up. So this might continue dropping slightly here, but then once you get the sell signal here, price might be swinging right back up. So a couple of things to look out for there. Price is now dropping below here. This is fine. If price drops below this point, we can look for SR scalps down here, but it looks like price may be dropping in this direction. So if price continues to drop below, we can start looking for some V1s, V1 continuations, and high-low quick scalps right here. So we have a sell signal here. In order for us to take an entry, we need to identify a high, right? So we're looking for that here. I know that the overall bias here is very strong for a buy. However, price is starting to dump down pretty heavily. So this might be shifting from buy to sell. But you do want to be careful about these entries here. This is a big dump right here. So price is due for retracement. Yeah, this would have been a counter trend trade, wouldn't have worked out. This is why you want to be careful when taking these entries here. You want to make sure that you're looking for direction of price. So for example, we did have a bullish bias right there, but if you go back to the 10 now, it's starting to shift because they're all starting to come down pretty heavy. So even though we have a bullish bias right now, this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stay. So the thing with this here that you want to look at is this is short-term bias and this is long-term bias, right? Long-term bias is an established, it's at 52% short. Fundamentals are up. So this is both indicating to take buys. Each short-term bias is all bullish, but this can shift at any moment. You can see here on the trend meter, it's starting to turn red. So if this is starting to turn red, looks like the 10-minute is going to be catching up soon. And the reason why I know that is because price is coming down here below the pivots, right? So that's one thing to look out for. You can see when price was below the pivots right here, the trend meter turned red, right? So just keep that in mind. The bias may be shifting. Nice. Deswell said he took that sell, made it 1,100 to pass his MFF challenge onto phase 2. Nice work, Deswell. So great work on passing your challenge today. You guys have been doing pretty good. Looks like a lot of you guys have been passing your challenges yesterday and today. I think Maddie passed his MFF as well. And I think somebody else passed yesterday too. I'm not sure if it was you, Deswell, but there was about 2 or 3 people who passed yesterday. And you know, it's just going to keep coming. So now that we have this extra strategy to apply, we'll see how they play out. So there's a possible SR rejection entry here, but the thing you want to look out for is the wick on the bottom. This candle here is too big now, so unfortunately we can't take it. You can see here that the candle is bigger than the stop loss. So this is why you wouldn't take it, because price will come up, hit your stop loss, and then come back down. When you guys see a big candle like this, it's due for retracement. So if it's more than 300 pips from entry, then it's definitely due for retracement, and you want to skip the trade there. That's going to be one of the main red flags. So I'll pull up the red flags over here for you guys that are not familiar with it. Avoid price. So red flags when to avoid trades when price is near sessions, when price is near opening price, near news price, basically all of these horizontal lines that I mentioned earlier. Also when candle prior to entry is too large. So this entry would have been down here. This candle here is too large because the candle is bigger than the stop loss. So you can see right here, price is pushing up, faked out, would have stopped people out, and then now it's coming right back down. So we'll see. Maddie said we might get a high-low quick scalp right here if we get a high. So we're looking at this candle here to identify where the high becomes established. Jay's asking, how do you highlight your SR zones? So typically this is what the zones look like. To highlight your zones, Jay, you just go to this rectangle tool right here. And I typically click on this magnet tool, and I'll go from this high and I'll just drop it down, and it'll create a zone right there. That's how I draw my my zones in. Typically, I do that because I'll turn off my zones to clean it up. It looks a lot better like this than having it all messy. So that's how I do it, Jay. Deswell said done for today, made 4%. Nice work, Deswell. Yeah, you should probably just take, I mean, you can hang around if you want, but if you pass your challenge already, you should probably just wait and get your funded account before you take any more trades, especially if you're at your profit goal. You know, it's crazy. I've seen some people, and it doesn't make sense to me. I've seen some people pass their FTMOs with like 5 days left on it, and they keep trading on it. And I'm like, what are you doing? I feel like some people don't understand the 10-day minimum. I know you understand as well, but I've seen some other people in the past where it's, it's like, is Steven in here? Steven is not in here right now, but it was Steven. So you guys know Steven. He passed his challenge within like 2 days, and then he kept trading. I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, I wanted to make more. He was thinking that if he kept trading, it would carry over to his verification account. I was like, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to just leave it alone and take just one trade. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Anyways, there's a high-low quick scalp right here, but it's right at the session, so I'm not going to take the trade there, Maddie. So it's right at the sessions right here. I mean, we'll follow it. I'll take a look at it and see where it goes, but I'm not going to take it, obviously. It's just too close to the sessions because the next candle here can just open right there. Like you can see how it's opening right there. It's going to be at the sessions as well. It also has a pending signal on it. I mean, yeah, that would have been the entry right there if there was no. So I'm just marking this up to show you guys where the entry possibly would have been if we would have taken it. However, there's a couple of red flags here. For one, the main red flags at sessions. You definitely don't want to trade at the sessions. And also there's a pending momentum signal on this candle as well. So, but you can see here that it still hits TP. So it came up, came down, hit TP, and then now it's starting to, slide its way back up. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the entry there. So this would be a high-low quick scalp if there was no red flags, but obvious red flags here. sessions, and there's a pending momentum on the signal as well. So this is fine. I mean, at least we can see here that price is starting to move directional. So this is a good thing. We see that price is coming down, came up for the retrace, and then now it's coming back down. This is confirming that, price is moving directional, which is good. Let's see, iPhone's asking, hey, Sean, do you recommend MFF or TFF? Neither. I mean, unless you've maxed out your FTMO, I wouldn't recommend either of them. You should max out your FTMO first. They're the same. So, I mean, it doesn't really make a difference. TFF and MFF are the same. I mean, they both have a lot of issues. MFF has execution issues, so that's a huge downside, especially for scalping. TFF, I don't know. TFF is so, they're like it's a mixed bag with them. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. Like, they're good right now, but I don't know how long this goodness is going to last for, right? Because Kip's been using them for a while, and Patricia was using them for a while. And then as soon as I signed up for them last time, as soon as I got funded, they put me on this weird server where it was impossible to trade. Like, you couldn't scalp, you couldn't do anything on it. You basically lost every trade because the execution times were bad, spread was too wide. But now they've gotten better. So I don't know how long this goodness is going to last. I mean, I can't really say, but they're not one of my recommended brokers. So yeah, unless you have maxed out your FTMO, I would not try anything else. I know a lot of people like doing these other companies because they're cheaper and they have a smaller profit goal, but you're trading quality of the quality account for, a cheaper account. So I wouldn't take any shortcuts. But if you pass your FTMO, then you can do either one. I think TFF is cheaper, so you might want to just do TFF just to get it out of the way. Yeah, Jonathan said servers crashed on NFP. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you guys remember NFP last week, the servers literally crashed on MFF, I think. Like, I couldn't even connect one of my MFF accounts to my copier. And then TFF had issues too, where the server was down. So all right, here we go. As price pushes down lower. All right, so we have our direction for the day. Price is no longer ranging. Price is actually dropping pretty heavily. So we have our current direction for the day. The thing that we have to confirm is that price will continue dropping. It's dropping and hitting liquidity right here. So you can see where price hit liquidity at these areas. So we had liquidity right here knocked out. Price dropped a bit lower. Another area of liquidity here getting knocked out. Clean this up a little bit here. Mark up a couple things here as well. So there goes liquidity. I'm going to go ahead and mark up opening price right here at 630. There's a couple areas to mark up. We have news right now coming up at 7 as well. I'm going to mark up opening price here too. All right, so with these markups here that I've marked up on the clean chart, basically we have a direction here, right? Price market open right here, price faked out. So it came down, faked out, came up, faked out, then it came down. And now it's in a directional push to the downside. So our direction for today is bearish. The thing that you want to look for here to confirm that it's going to stay bearish is whether price comes back up and tests this opening price. So if price comes back up to this area and comes back down, then we have it's a continuation back down. However, if price comes up, breaks above, then comes back for the retest and continues pushing up higher, then we have a reversal. If we have that, then the market's just been ranging. There's no clear direction. That's kind of what's happening here. You can see how price is starting to shift its way back up. It's currently in a small range right now. This range was just established a few minutes ago. Right there. It's only been in this range for about 10 minutes. So we can't really say it's ranging right now or consolidating. It's just retracing up right now at the moment. There's a possible high-low quick scalp right here after this candle. So we'll see if this pushes. It's right next to the news though, so we might want to wait. What do you think about this, Maddie? I'm probably going to hold off. I'm waiting until the news passes because we still have that threshold that we don't want to trade 5 minutes before news or 5 minutes after. Yeah, Maddie said rather not take it. I mean, same here. So we'll follow it. We'll see if there's an entry here, but I'm not going to take it myself. Okay, actually, there's no entry here because we have the momentum signal there. So you can't have momentum going this way if you're looking for a sell. Now you'd be looking for a buy because you have the momentum shifting to the upside. So actually no entry there. We have news coming up in about 3 minutes. Right here at 7 o'clock. The news at 7 o'clock is going to be an NHB housing market index. So it looks like it's going to be negative. I mean, we'll see where that goes. Yeah, nothing else right here. All right, price is rejecting off the structure. You can see our price is still within the range that it established. So there's actually a V1 right here, not a V1 that I would take because the overall bias is still bullish. So there's a V1 right there, a couple red flags, prices coming up to news price, and also the overall bias is still bullish. So going 10-minute, still bullish, 15, still bullish, 1 hour, still bullish, 30 minutes, still bullish, 4 hour, still bullish as well. So other than that, let's take a look at the sentiment. Sentiment is still at 52% short. Fundamentals are down to 498 points. So we'll see prices starting, I mean, slowly making its way back down. There goes the V1 right there. Looks like it would have hit TP already. Yep, went straight to prof target. So you guys can see here that the variations are still hitting. It's just very risky because you're going against this overall bias. But you can see here that on the short term, price is actually shifting down. So for the high-low quick scalps, I'll probably be looking to take these for sells or buys, whichever direction they go. But for the V1s, I'm probably still looking for the other 4 buys here. So just keep that in mind. If you guys are familiar with the V1s, it requires to have an overall bias. So you can't take sells for V1s, but the high-low quick scalp, we don't have a requirement for overall bias. Typically, you do want to trade in the direction of bias, but overall bias is not one of the requirements. So that's the difference between the variations and the high-low quick scalps. Same with the SR rejections. SR rejections, no requirement for overall bias. The only one is the variations. Let's see, Medusa, the 5-minute pushed for a counter trend. Check that real quick. Oh, it did. So here's a counter trend trade on the 5-minute. This is the one that I marked up. That's why I had the profit loss tool up already. As you guys can see, this would have been a counter trend trade for the 5-minute. You can see it was the first momentum signal after market open. The reason why it was a counter trend trade is because the overall bias here was bullish, right? So you do the opposite and buy. So I don't know if anyone caught it. I did mark this up earlier and we were talking about it, but I'm not sure if anyone actually took the trade. It's a nice 500 pips right there. All right, so price is starting to make its way back up. It's right at the sessions again. So at this point, we got to wait for news to pass. News is right here. Check the news real quick. News at 7 o'clock was negative, very negative, actually. You can see price doing the opposite, going up. So this is going to be 7 a.m. US news, negative. All right, so we basically need price to get away from this area right here. This whole area right here is not an area where we want to be in. A lot of red flags. There you can see these pink lines, purple lines, and some more pink lines. See if there's any new zones around this area. That looks fine for now. All right, so this is a whole area of red flags. There's news price, sessions, and news price down here. It's not a good area to be in. Yeah. All right. Seth said, I saw the green momentum signal, then saw the high-low candle and immediately entered on the following candle. Saw a weight cut 100 pips. Did that identify as a high-low quick scalp? Let's see. Sorry, let me reread that again, Seth. Seth said he saw a green momentum signal, then the high-low. I mean, do you have an example, Seth, so I can see it on the chart? What time is the, okay, so you took this one right here. So you took this one with the buy signal. So the, there wouldn't be an entry right here, Seth. Your entry would be this one right here. Because if you have a buy signal, you're only looking for buys, right? So if you have a buy signal, you're looking for a low. If you're talking about this one right here, then yes, this is a high-low quick scalp. This one right here wouldn't be because you don't have a sell signal. If you had a sell signal, like for example, right here, price, we have a sell signal and you have a high at this point, this is where you would take the sell. But since you have a buy signal right here, you're looking for the low because you're going, so sorry, so which are you talking about, this one right here, the high or the low? Because if you're talking about the, okay, the high, this one right here. Yeah. So if you're talking about this one right here, then yes, that would be an entry. However, it was right at news and it was also at, well, actually I have the news price marked up right here. So yeah, you are right that that was an entry. However, it was right at news. So it would have been a red flag, like when to avoid the trade. But going off the requirements, if you were to look at any of these red flags or if none of this stuff was here, then you're right. That would have been an entry right there for a full TP. Yeah, risky, but you can see that it still hits. I mean, even this one over here, I had this one marked up and this one was risky too, but this one actually hit as well. So as long as there's volatility in the market, I mean, it's pretty easy to catch these trades, but yeah, definitely spot on with that entry right there, Seth. And yeah, Maddie's been forward testing this during London session. It hits like literally every trade. So volatility is usually pretty high during London into New York. So if you trade pre-market, you should probably find like a lot of luck, especially if the spread's pretty low. Yep. No problem, Seth. Other than that, let's keep looking for some more entries here, guys. So there's nothing to take right now. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit so we don't have a mess on the chart. We currently have a bullish momentum. So what I'm looking for at this point is I'm looking for price to come back down, provide a low. And then once it provides a low, we can bounce off that and take the, I mean, I personally would be looking for buys here, guys. I'm not really looking for sells at the moment. I'm looking for buys because the overall bias is still very bullish. That's the main thing. Typically, I know this not require that you have long-term bias, but it's always best to trade with long-term and short-term bias as long as they're in the same direction. And right now, these are in the same direction. So you have retail sentiment, which is 52% short, fundamentals very high up. And then the trend on pretty much all the timeframes here are bullish as well. So I'm more inclined to take buys here. I want to take buys rather than sells. So I want price to push up a bit higher, come back down for the retracement and continue back up. Our target price point is going to be opening price right here, right? That's going to confirm that price is going to be, you know, returning to that area. And that, I think that's going to be the sweet spot as well. So the thing is, if we have a bunch of entries here where price pushes up, comes back down, entry there, price goes again, pushes up, comes back down, entry there, etc. You know, continue to push up. So we'll see where this goes. Trend meter is currently red. So for the SR rejection scalps, I mean, you can only look for sells right now. This should be shifting though. I think if price makes its way up here, then that should probably be shifting pretty soon. So we'll see where this ends up going. Man, it just keeps getting sucked back into this area. This is why you want to stay away from these red flag areas right here. Because if you look at these points right here where these horizontal lines are, you can see where price gets highly manipulated, right? So price will come down here, fake out, come back up, fake out, come back up higher, fake out and come back down. It just keeps bouncing back and forth. So yeah, I definitely want to be a bit careful here. All right, so price is pushing its way back up. This right here, there's no wick on it. There is a low there, but there's no wick on this candle right here. So there's no high-low quick scalp. You can see here that price is breaking outside of the range. One thing that you want to look out for is whether price continues up. So this is what happened here. Here's the pattern. Price broke above it, came back for the retest. This will confirm whether price continues back up or if it's going to pull back below. All right, so just something to keep in mind there. So let's see if price pushes up higher from this point. All right, cool. So I wanted to push up a little higher. The reason for that's because we have too many high lows right here, right? If you guys were on the mentoring session yesterday or even on the live yesterday, I mentioned that areas to avoid will be areas like this, where price consolidates for a while. So one way to see that is to look at these momentum signals. If they come up right after each other, then price is probably consolidating. Same with this right here. If you have a lot of high lows that keep populating, it's probably a consolidation area. So you can see right here again as well. Price was consolidating right here. You have these high lows that are right next to each other, right? Whenever they're spread out like this, where it's a high, low, and they're spread out, they're moving directional, that's where you want to take the trades because it's a directional strategy. For this right here, price is just going sideways. In order for me to want to take these trades here, I need price to push up a bit higher, up to here, get away from this area, retrace from this point, provide me entry right here, and push back up to hit my TP. So that's what I'm looking for right there. I want this to push it quite a bit, away from this area here so that we can look for an entry. The SR or the trend meter down below is still red. So no SR entries for us. No V1s. I mean, if we get a low, then we might get a V1. But if we get that, we're also going to be looking for a quick scalp. Still nothing here. This is exactly what I wanted. This is perfect. Price pushing up higher. Madhu said full TP on the 3-minute pivot scalp. Didn't take it though. So right here on the 3-minute chart, this is what Madhu identified. There's a 3-minute pivot scalp right here. Trend meter was green. Price is above the pivots. Close with a momentum signal. Full TP right there. So if you guys caught that, great. If not, it's okay. But thanks for mentioning that, Madhu. It's always good to see these other strategies still hitting. Even though we're not technically applying them as much anymore. Yeah, no, I think it's pretty solid. So there's actually a possible SR rejection here. Never mind. The trend meter was green for a second and price was above this point. So it looked like an SR rejection pending right here, but it did not play out as anticipated. We got about 30 seconds left on here. So we'll see how it plays out. If it doesn't confirm within the next, 10 seconds or so, I'm probably going to hold off on it. So by the last 10 seconds, if there's no confirmed entry there, definitely not going to take it. It's too late and too close to the candle close. So here we are at the last 10 seconds. Definitely not going to take the trade there. Eunice said the 10-minute snipe hit full TP. Let's take a look real quick. Yeah, so there was a snipe right here. This is the snipe that Eunice identified. Wick rejection off this candle right here. Quick 10-minute snipe. If you took the entry at that point, full TP right there with no drawdown. So there's a lot of entries that are coming up right here, guys. If you guys are looking at the other strategies here, a lot of entries coming up. But we're going to stick to the 1 minute for now. Yeah, so that hit pretty solid right there. There's like literally no drawdown. 5 minute, same here. I'm curious if this high-low quick scalp works well on the higher time frames too. I mean, I'm not going to. It's just too much work to look at it, but it looks like it does work pretty often. It doesn't come up too often, but it does hit. So like, for example, buy signal right here, low, this entry, full TP. Same with this one over here, low, entry right there, full TP. Nice. Yeah, Seth said he saw the same exact setup on the 5-minute, pretty lucrative. Yeah, no, definitely. I'd have to test it out like real time though to see if they're like, because the problem with these here is that I mean, it's not really much of a problem. It's just really having these candles take forever, so it's gonna take some time. But yeah, looking at these entries here, they do look like they hit. What I would probably do though, taking those types of entries, is I would probably look for trade in direction of the trend. So I know there's some sell entries here, but I probably would not take them. Actually, I don't know. They look like they hit too. So the sell right there. This would have been the entry, full TP. Yeah, that's something we can go back and test on these higher time frames, because it is a pretty quick scalp. All right, so the trend meter is now green, but price is still kind of bouncing around this area. This is fine. I'm looking for a low to be established anyways. So I kind of want a low to come up at some point here. Yeah, exactly. Seth said that, yeah, they're slower, but you can probably catch 300 to 500 pips to make it worth your while. Yeah, and I agree too, Seth, definitely. Yeah, I just would have to find the sweet spot. I think sweet spot would be 300. Yeah, what Maddie just said. Maddie said might be able to do 300, 300. I think so too. Yawns are killing me. Yeah, I know, Maddie Wood would be right. Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to test them, feel free to test them out. Let us know what's up. Possible entry here for high-low quick scalp. Next candle. Gotta wait for it. If it closes proper, you take that for a quick high-low scalp. So there's no entry here yet. I'm not going to take this one. There's a pending momentum on it. Yeah, probably hold off on this one. Typically, you want to hold off when there's a pending momentum on it, because you really don't know where price is going to go from that point. Yeah, Maddie said momentum may be shifting, so have a bullish bias though. Yeah, no, exactly, Maddie. So I probably hold off on it for now. That's something to look out for whenever you guys take the entry. I know it's going to be hard to really, pinpoint it and look at it because of the obvious, like you really don't know until the candle actually closes. But typically if there's a pending momentum, it'll come up like right away. Like it'll come up as soon as the candle opens, because we are on the 1 minute. So definitely want to be careful with that there. Yeah, it's 7:15 already. This market kind of sucks today. It's not like what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting it to move a bit more. I mean, it is moving, but it's not really moving too directional. It's kind of going back and forth. I know it is bearish here, but looks like price is faking out and coming back right back into the range over here. And don't let this scare you away, guys, because the market's gonna move like this sometimes. Sometimes we'll have very directional days. Like yesterday was pretty easy. We take a couple trades and it was just solid wins here and there, but today is not as smooth as yesterday. I think the main problem here is that there's a lot of red flags around the area. Yesterday, we didn't have any red flags around here. It was pretty open. So just gotta wait for something to come. So again, right here, there'd be a possible entry for a SR scalp, but the problem with this is that it's right at the news price. Right there. Also, the candle's too big. Yeah, no, check it out, Maddie. Let's see. So there's not one right here, but I mean, obviously, it's a sell momentum right there. Yeah, if you see one, just let me know, Maddie, and we'll take a look at it as well. The problem with this strategy here is you can't really backtest it. You have to like do it real time because you don't have the luxury of seeing when the wick shows up. So here goes, price starts to drop lower. The 10-minute here works well as well. I'm looking here on the 10. The 10 would probably be good for 500, 500. I mean, this thing comes up even less, but it does come up. But yeah. I want to look for a buy here. Same with the 5. It's a possible buy there, but it's right at the sessions, Maddie. It's like literally at the sessions. So there's no entries here for us to take, guys. It's right at the red flags right here. So we can't take any buys here. We also can't take any sells at the moment because we need a high. So there's no entry there. Medusa, the high low on the 10-minute would also be an entry, right? Yeah, if you're talking about this one right here, Medu, yes. So we have bullish momentum. There was a low here. This candle had the wick, so you would have entered right there. And I guess if you're going for 500 pips, you would have hit your GP. DeJounte double wicks make me want to sell for a few pips. Yeah, it's basically a double top right here off the news price. But I wouldn't trade at news price because you guys can see right here where price is obviously, I mean, it looks like it's being manipulated, right? This price will come up to here. It'll have trouble passing, and then all of a sudden it'll blast above it. It'll trick people and come right back down. So a lot of fake outs happen right here at these horizontal lines. So this 5 minutes closing right here, Maddie, I'm going to follow it to and just watch it. I know it's at the session, so obviously not one that we would take, but I'm curious to see, how it plays out. I think we could do 300, 300 on this one. So the entry technically would be like right there. There is a pending momentum on this though, so. Yeah, I know there's a pending momentum, so it's not really valid. It's the same situation that we looked at earlier. Whenever you have a pending momentum on the actual entry candle, that's where it becomes super risky. Or even if it's someone before it. So a couple of reasons why we wouldn't take the trade. One reason is pending momentum. Plus, I mean, the sessions is the big one here. It's just too close to it. All right, back to the 1 minute. Still no entries here. Yeah, and it's also at news price too. So a couple of reasons you would skip this trade here. Like what Maddie said, it's at news price and it's also at the sessions. We'll still follow though to see if it plays out. I'll send an alert there to let me know. Five minutes. I think with a 5 minute twos, you got to figure out the TP stop loss. I don't know if 300 might be too tight, but see where it goes. So there's unfortunately, we're not going to have an entry here. I mean, possibly, but doesn't look like it because we need to have a, it's too close to the news price right here. We have the high here, but it's too close to news price. If it pulls back even a little bit, it can, push up and touch the news price right there, the news candle. So I'll follow this as well. I'm not going to take it, but I'll follow it. It's looking for the wick right there. So the wick came up right there. That's where the entry would be. See the 5-minute. So we're not in this position, guys, just showing you that this is one setup that would possibly come up. The problem with this entry here is that it's right at news price. The previous candle did touch it, so it doesn't validate the trade. Falls under the red flag. Can't trade at any of these horizontal lines, whether it be news price, sessions, or opening price. So back over here to the clean chart, as you guys can see, price faked out up here, pulled right back into the range right here. Now it's going back sideways. Man, that would have been a good entry. So there you go, full TP off this one. I mean, if blasted right through the TP. If only this news price wasn't here, it would have been solid. Because it lined up solidly. I mean, even this right here was actually a bad entry because we entered like down here. Entry should have been like up here, but we entered down here. It still hit full TP. So unfortunately, yeah, this would have been a good entry, but it was right at news price. So if you guys are not familiar with the quick scalp, the high-low quick scalp, you might want to go back and rewatch the mentoring session from yesterday. We went over the strategy super deep in detail. Basically, we have a sell momentum right here. We're looking for price to retrace, establish a high. Once it established the high right there, once the next candle following, we have provided a wick rejection. That's where the entry would have been because we would have rode this back to continuation. So wish we would have taken that, but it's all good. It is what it is. We got to wait for price to be away from these red flags here. So, all right, as price drops lower at this point, completely fine. Wants to drop down, push it for retracement. Possible entry above this area, continuation back down. So the 5-minute here didn't play out, but not one we would have taken. So if you guys, so the red flags are in order, guys. The main thing that you want to focus on, so let me just put this here. Or red flags. So a couple things, and these are in order from importance. So sessions, right? This entry right here was at the sessions. It was definitely a no for us. These arrows not working. But anyways, the first one is sessions. This entry right here came up where the sessions was. Definitely skip that. Next opening price, then news price, then candle too big. So going over here, this over here was also a risky entry, but for the red flags, it was a little lower down the list. News price is number 3. Still wouldn't take it, but in ranking of riskiness, is around there. So no entries here yet. Looking for another high to establish. Or if price drops below here, possible SR scalp. All right. So there's nothing here right now. Just want to look for another possible entry here on these higher time frames, just testing it out to see, how they work and how they would apply. I think the 10-minute here, like these like very rarely come up, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to take any of these here. I'm gonna check this to see if there's another high here, or if this, because the high does repaint. So, or this probably wouldn't count because this is Monday when the market opened. All right, so we'll use this as an example right here. Actually, never mind. I take that back. You wouldn't be taking a sell here. You'd be looking for a buy. You have momentum there for a buy. So here's an example of a buy entry. I saw that there was a pending momentum there, so I don't know if we really want to take that, but see 10-minute here. Oh, this one actually hit. So it got close to stop loss, but it didn't actually hit stop loss. It hit TP. But it did have a pending momentum on that signal, so something we can test moving forward. All right, back to the 1 minute over here. There's a possible SR scalp here if it closes below. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. All right. All right, so nothing there. The good thing about price pushing up right here is that you can establish a high for a possible entry for a sell using the high-low quick scalp. So there's no SR rejection entry there, but the good thing is that we might be getting an SR or a high-low quick scalp. So I want price to push up slightly higher, provide some sort of high-low right there, and allow it to continue back down. Sentiment still the same, I think. Yep, 51%. 455. I mean, still pretty bullish, but for these high-low quick scalps, if we do get some sort of sell entry or a high here, then possibly able to catch something. Nothing yet, though. And today's such a whack trading day. We entered the week pretty good. Yesterday was a really good trading. If you guys missed the session yesterday, we hit a lot of entries yesterday. Today, not so much. Let me check news for tomorrow. We got some pre-market news, building permits, housing starts. I'm pretty sure this is going to be negative tomorrow. That you guys have seen the housing market's not doing so great. Crude oil inventories right here. So we got a couple news events tomorrow, nothing crazy. We have the Fed speaking in the afternoon. Thursday, we have unemployment claims, existing home sales, CB leading index. A lot of news on Thursday. Actually, it's Fed day on Thursday. And then Friday, we have Fed member Williams speaking pre-market. So, I mean, there's not that much news going on. I think the main thing for today is going to be the earnings. So possible SR rejection scalp right here. I think the candle may be too big, though, if it does close below. This is as low as a candle can go, this point right here. Anywhere below that, and it's going to be too big of a candle. So right here, yeah, the candle is just too big. Right here, the wick's too big now, so it's not a moderate red candle. So it does not look like we are going to have an entry. Yeah, wick on the bottom is too big. Body of the candle super small. So no SR rejection right here, unfortunately. All right, man. Let's try to salvage what we can out of this market. I want to catch at least one trade. Okay, possible SR rejection scalp right here. The candle just can't be too big, and it needs to stay moderate. So we don't even have a red candle right here, so that does not look like it's going to. I know, right? Dejan said, watch it push super low in the last few seconds, and it did right here. I think this is too risky of an entry, guys. I'm not going to take it. You have to wait for the candle to close, but yeah, I mean, it closed all right there, but it happened. It was too late. Yeah, I'm not going to FOMO into this trade. I'm just going to let it run. If it runs, great. If it doesn't, it's okay. I'm not in this position here. This is what I was waiting for, but it closed in the last 5 seconds. One thing that you want to look for these SR rejection scalps is you want to make sure that it's pretty solid before like the last 5-10 seconds, because you can see right here that it's starting to fake out, right? Typically when it hits a 10-second mark, you want it to be pretty solid. Right here, you can see this was like up here, it was like a little pin needle, and then it dropped at the last 5 seconds or so. So not taking this trade here, guys. This is what I was looking for, but it did not close the way that we wanted it to. So better be safe than sorry. Price is way overextended anyway, so it's it's not a good time to take these entries down here so low. Let's see. So price has dropped about from this high to this low right here, about 2,000 pips. So as you guys can see, it did drop quite a bit. All right, so this right here would be the daily entry. If you're not using the long-term bias. Not taking this trade here, but mark it up. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of you guys have been asking if we're still taking the daily entries. We're not taking them yet because there's no direction in the market. You guys can see here from the clean chart, the market is so messy. I mean, it is bearish, but it's not a clean bearish push to the downside. It's a super choppy push to the downside. Let me go and update this real quick. All right, price is still pushing around this area. 10 minutes currently running. The 1 minute right here is still technically running too, for the SR rejection scalp right there. Again, not in this position, but this was the setup that I was looking for. So just a reminder, for the SR rejection scalp, guys, if your candle doesn't close, like if it's not down here already within the last 10 seconds of the candle, you definitely want to just skip it because it is a bit risky taking a trade like that, because it can easily shift at the last 5 seconds. Like for example, here, the candle is actually like way up here. And then at the last 5 seconds, it just dumped down. So for sure want to be aware of that. I'm gonna take this off so that you guys don't think that I'm actually taking that trade there, because I'm not. Right. So we have a possible high-low quick scalp right here coming up. There is a pending momentum on the candle though, so you want to be careful. I think the next, if this doesn't close with the momentum, the next one might still have the pending momentum on it, which is going to screw with our entry here. Hey, Barack, how's it going? Glad to see you made it to the room. Madu said futures still up over 400 points. Fundamentals are mostly green. Yeah, I saw that too. That's why it's kind of risky to take these sells here. I'm still looking for buys, but we don't have any solid buys coming up here. Looking over here at sentiment. Sentiment is at, I think it's 50-50 now. Yeah, it's at 50-50. Fundamentals are up 439 points. So we have the buy signal right there. What you might get next is you might get a high-low quick scalp to the upside, like what Maddie mentioned. Yeah, green signal retraced and establish a low. Yeah, I mean, that could possibly happen right here. Nice, Brock. Yeah, no, we haven't taken any trades here yet. There's a couple of close entries that we took. However, as you can see, the market is a lot more messier than it was yesterday. Price was stuck here in the middle of these sessions for a while, so we couldn't take any trades around that area. Looking for any possible entries here, maybe at least one trade for the day. But if not, then we're not going to force anything. Of course, we're going to make sure that we're only looking for quality trades here. So we got a buy signal right here. We have a high. We're looking for a low next. Meter still red. Pending sell signal right here. If this closes with the sell signal, this will possibly, never mind, the candle's too big. And this movement's so weird today. So this would be a possible SR scalp, but the candle here is just way too big. So it does look like price is attempting to make its way back down. It's just, yeah, the candle's too big. Maddie said it's a triple confluence, which it is. If you guys can see right here, there's an intraday entry, pivot scalp entry, also high-low scalp right here. No, a normal high-low scalp, not a quick scalp, but a high-low scalp right here for a triple confluence. But the candle here is just too big. So probably want to skip that. Let's see, breaking news over here from Eunice. Thanks for the link. There's no entry right there. Would have been a nice triple confluence if it did close though. Let's see, so Eunice sent me this link. He said Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon says there's a good chance of a recession, so it's time to be cautious. Yeah, I mean, that's probably why the market is kind of moving back and forth, right? It's not really moving directional. Typically, the market would be moving directional right now, but we have, a world event going on. We have this possible recession that's coming. So this is the main reason why we don't take any of these like very long directional trades. We're taking these little scalps here because these are the market conditions that we are trading under. So possible sell signal right there. The 10-minute is still running in profit, it looks like. Yeah, 10-minute is currently running in profit. But yeah, still no entries here. There's a possible high-low quick scalp for a buy here that's coming up, but I don't know if I'm going to take it. Pending momentum right there. So I'm definitely not going to take the trade there again. But this here would be the this would technically be the high-low quick scalp for a buy if there was no pending momentum here. So I'm looking for sells here. I'm not really looking for buys. I know the overall bias here is for a buy. But it is a bit of a risky entry here. So it looks like this one here might have hit the TP already. Not yet, but almost there. I just feel like buys right now are super risky. Especially because there's always a pending sell signal right here because price is so low. Pending sell momentum. So I'll see if there's another one here that comes up. But yeah, it looks like this one over here would have hit for the buy. Check the higher time frames. Nothing there, nothing there. 10 minutes still running. This is the would be considered the 10-minute daily. All right, so I kind of want price to push up a little bit. If price can push up to this point here, like a little higher, and then it establishes another high-low quick scalp, then I'll take that one. I just want it to be above this area right here so that we can have an idea that price is actually going to keep pushing up. So price pushes up to this area, retraces down, provides a low, and it continues up higher, then great, I'll take the buy there. But down here is a risky area to be looking at. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said he wants it to establish a higher low. Yeah, which is what I'm looking for too. So Maddie said, so it shows some sort of structure being broken to the upside. Exactly. That's how I'm looking for it to come above here, Maddie. If price comes above this point, then it's going to establish that price is likely to keep pushing up higher. And it's due to retrace anyway, so that's what I'm looking for. Because it's been dropping for like 2,000 pips. It has to retrace at some point. We can catch at least 100 pips on the pushback to the upside. All right. So there goes, price pushes up a bit higher. So I need to push up a little higher. As I mentioned, this is going to be the area that I need price to go above. Which, I mean, it does have potential. Otherwise, if it doesn't, then price is just in a range, right? So if you guys ever have trouble looking, identifying market structure, just draw these high lows. If you guys draw the most recent high lows right here and right here, you guys can see that price is realistically just ranging. It might be hard to see unless you draw them, but if you draw them, you have a pretty big picture as to like where price is likely to go. Trend meter is still red. So there's no possibility of a SR rejection for a buy here yet. We have bullish momentum for red trend meter. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right, price is pushing up higher. This is perfect. I just need to push up a little higher. 7:43 right now, so we have about 17 minutes until 8. See it pushing up higher right here. Good thing. It just needs to blast through that threshold. That's the main thing. Once it establishes a higher low or a higher high and a lower high or a higher low, then you can see the direction. So that's one way to look at it right here too. So you can see how we have a higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low, etc. You can see how this is establishing direction to the downside. Same with this right here. We're looking for the same thing. We're looking for a lower low, higher low, higher high, and continuation to this side. We just don't have that yet. And it looks like volatility is starting to die down super heavily. So prices only moved about 200 pips on this area. This like a message, Brock said accidentally, purposely, quite a combination, like a destructive mode. All right, so price is finally pushing up a little bit, but the volatility is super, super low. So price is pushing up. It's great. Just push up a little higher, swing down for retest, and continue. 10-minute, nothing there. 5-minute, nothing there. 3-minute, also nothing there. Man, this market sucks. Yeah, today's just not the day. Yeah, Maddie said market doo-doo. Yeah, it's not really moving now. It's kind of died out. Looking back at the previous candles over here, I mean, just looking back at these here, there weren't that many entries anyways to take. So there was one right here, but we couldn't take it. It was right at news price. There was one right, and actually there's not one right there. There's only one right there. There was another one right here, right at news price. There was about, let me just mark up the entries that we could have taken, but it was at news price. So one right there. One right there. And one right there. So there's about like 3 entries that came up right here because market opened here at 6:30. And there was there's 3 entries, but they were all at red flags. They all would have hit CP, but they were at red flags. So it's not areas to be trading in. Those are the only entries that came up. Yesterday, there was a lot of entries. There was like 5 or 6 entries. We took about like 2 or 3 of them, but there was a lot more entries. There was no zones or news price nearby. So it was pretty solid. Today, there's just too much news price. You can see our price kind of got manipulated throughout this whole area right here. This whole area down here, price pretty much, it got to these sessions and news price kind of bounced around, came back below, came back above, did the same thing right here until it finally pushed away. But now that this consolidation is done, it's now just consolidating down here. So market opened here at 6:30. There hasn't been too much movement since then. Oh, fuck, I missed this. Did you guys see that? There's a high low quick scalp right there. I totally missed it. That was the same setup that we were looking for. Did you see that, Maddie? There was a low right here, and then the entry actually came up right here. I like took my eyes off it for like 1 second and missed it. Maddie said he was chilling on his phone. Yeah, Madhu said there was a pending momentum at first. Okay, so no, so we probably would have skipped that one. So actually, we would have skipped that one too, Maddie. So we didn't really miss it, but thanks, Madhu, for the heads up. Yeah, I thought we missed that one there. Market said, Dejan said, market is so boring. I might go text my ex. Yeah, so we have a possible entry here, guys. So price is now pushing up right here. We have about like 12 minutes until 8. So hopefully from now until then, we'll have at least one entry here. Price did push up slightly, looking for it to come back down, provide a low at some point right here, and then continue the ride to the upside. All right, let's see where this is going. Patrick said, I'm noticing a lot of pending momentum ones still gonna forward test going forward. Yeah, no, definitely, Patrick. If you can do that, that'd be great. If you want to forward test it and just see, because if you guys can just pull the data and see, like, when we do have the pending momentum, then that's probably something that we can just continue to take. We don't need to avoid it. Other Patrick said, I know long-term bias is a buy, but I really don't like the quick scalp against trend meter. Scares me a little. Maddie, do you have stats on how many you've been forward testing play against the trend meter? Yeah, Matt, if you have the data for that too, that'd be good as well. So whoever's like forward testing the strategy, if you ever gotcha. So Maddie hasn't taken any stats yet. So we'll probably just start to try and take stats moving forward. Yeah, Maddie said he's just been watching. So we'll try to keep that in mind. There's a couple factors that we want to look at. Pending momentum, that's one of them, and then also trading against the trend meter. So yeah, I guess moving forward, if it's only been like less than a week since we've been applying this. I think as we continue to move forward, we probably will just start to notice it as we continue moving along. So we'll see with time. But yeah, the strategy is a directional strategy. So I think this will be good for pretty much until next summer. So we'll probably be applying this pretty often from now until, next summer. So we have price over here dropping a little bit. We need that low. If we can establish a low, then we could possibly take an entry at this point. All right. So you don't have a low yet. $7.51, we got about 9 minutes left. So hopefully within that 9-minute period, we can possibly get some sort of entry here. So just a reminder, guys, I'm still using the 200 pip stop loss for now. If you guys are using this, you have to remember to get into these trades very quickly. You can't be wasting any time thinking about it. If you see an entry and it's one that you want to take. You just got to hit buy right away, buy or sell, whatever direction you're trading in, because your stop loss is really tight. So I prefer to have it tight to minimize any risk, any losses that may come. And I think you guys should do the same. As long as you guys are on point. If you guys are not on point, then use a wider stop loss just in case. But the 200 has been pretty solid for me. So we have no low yet. The volatility is super low right now. It's price pretty much came down, hit all liquidity down here. Yeah, so there was a possible, there was a possible high low, but now we have a sell signal, so we can't even take it. All right, so we'll see if we can maybe catch something. If not, we might just have to wrap it up today. So we have a sell signal here now. Unfortunately, with that sell signal, we can no longer take any buys. This would have been a good entry right here too, if it would have closed. But we do have the sell signal. So if anything, if worse comes to worse, we can look for some sells here. But yeah, Maddie said if one comes before 8, he'll take it if it looks clean. Yeah, same here. And if not, it's fine. We'll come back tomorrow, refresh, and hold off until the next session. So Maddie over here took a couple trades here, blocked in some NASDAQ trades as well. Were you applying the same strategy, Maddie? Yeah, it looks like Maddie was established. It was taking the same strategy, or he was doing something different. Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's all good. So just a couple of profits here posted so far. We haven't taken any official trades, guys, so we don't have anything that we took officially. But just looking at the profits for this morning so far, we have Maddie with 700 for the day. He was trading NASDAQ pre-market. Looking over here at CSUK as well, he was trading US30 pretty much all day today, locked in a total profit of 19,323. For myself, haven't taken anything yet. Today's been a pretty dry day for me. I might even notice that. Yeah, we missed it again. So we missed a couple trades. There's an SR rejection right here. I don't know if anyone caught it, but there was an SR rejection right there that came up. This one's a little tricky though, Maddie, because it was kind of small. So the wick was 50. Actually, I wouldn't have taken it, Maddie. The body wasn't big enough. The wick on the bottom was too big. So bottom wick about 40 pips. The body was 50 pips. So it was really close on TradingView here. So actually no entry off that. It's just the volatility is super low right now, so we're not really getting much movement at all. There's another one right here, possibly. It's too late to enter though. Yeah, it's too late. I don't know if anyone caught it, but this closed like super late too. There's a wick rejection right there. And then literally as soon as it closed, it blasted right through, hit TP. Maddie said, I like how we look for the high-low quick scalp when market is directional. Then we look for SR when it ranges. That's all we really need, to be honest. Maybe the V1. Yeah, no, and I agree with you too, Maddie. It's why I'm focusing on just those strategies there. We have a few directional strategies and we have a few or just one ranging strategy. So whenever market is ranging like how it is right now, obviously you're applying the SR rejection. If price is moving directional, you can use the high-low quick scalp, or you can use the variation V1 or V1 continuation. Yeah, Tyler said retail switching to long after this push down this morning. That zone changed a little, Sean. Got a bit smaller. Let me check real quick. Thanks, Midu, for the heads up. Gotcha. Okay. So it doesn't look like I'm going to have any entries for today, guys, unfortunately. I mean, good thing we had some pretty good profits yesterday to cover for today's slow day. Obviously, we would have wanted today to be better, but you know, not every day is going to be super jam-packed with entries. So another possible SR rejection right here, but I don't know if it'll close proper in the last. No, it's not. Wick on the bottom is too big. Seth said, could there be a 3-minute high-low quick scalp? Let me see. So this one over here has a pending momentum on it. Yeah. I mean, technically, yeah, you could have taken this for an entry if you really, really wanted to. I don't know what the TP stop loss would be. It'd probably have to be like, because the thing with the 3-minute is that it moves so fast, or I mean, it's a lot bigger. So you measure each candle, moves at least like 200 pips per candle. So you probably want a bit of a wider stop loss. This might be like a 300 move. But yeah, there was a pending momentum right there. So probably would have just skipped it. I know, right? Let's see. Charlie said, do you still do the 1-minute scalp where it's below, above the trend line? Yeah, Charlie, so you're talking about the pivot scalp, right? I mean, you can still apply it. I haven't been applying it myself because the market hasn't been directional. I mean, pretty much all summer market's been going sideways. That's why we have 3 different strategies that we really focus on. We have one when market's going directional. So like when price is going directional, we apply the variation or the high-low quick scalp. The one that you're talking about is the pivot scalp entry, right? Which is this one right here. So, I mean, yeah, if you want to apply it, you can still apply it. We just don't apply it on the live anymore because the market hasn't moving. It hasn't been moving directional at all. It's, it's just been pretty sideways for the most part. I mean, but if you're applying it, it still works pretty good as long as the candle's not too big. So like, here's one right there for a buy, still hits. One for a sell right here. It works for the most part, but like the market's been so iffy where it's like, it's not just moving directional all the time. Like you have to really catch when the market's moving directional, or else you just miss the move. So another one right there, buy, full TP. It looks like market is starting to tank pretty heavy right here. However, it is 8 o'clock, so unfortunately, I think we're going to wrap this up for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll hang around to answer whatever questions you guys have. Otherwise, we're going to call it a day. Nice. John said he caught himself a little trade. Now he's out. Patrick said he just caught that SR for a full TP. Yeah, there's an SR right here. Just missed it. Seth said I'm going to test this heavy on multiple time frames. Yeah, no, definitely. Seth, test it out and let us know, because if it works good on higher time frames, we can try it out as well. So Sisu caught the SR rejection scalp right there. Yeah, definitely, Madhu. We'll see you tomorrow. So if you guys have any problems, post up. Looks like we have a couple here. We have Barack currently up 47. Nice recovery on that loss right there, Barack. So pretty good. It looks like you whenever you enter the live session, you pretty much cover your losses, which is pretty good. Narith over here currently up 3,690. Nice work, Narith. We have Scotty over here currently at 903. Great work, Scotty. We have Patrick over here currently up 3,229. Great work, Patrick. And then we have Dejan over here, total profit of 45 for the day. So solid work right there, Dejan. Man, I don't know how you trade on your phone, Dejan. I'm pretty sure you're on your phone, right? I can see the live stream on here. It's crazy. I mean, it's good that you're hitting, but I don't know. I can't do it. The screen's too small for me. Unless you got a big phone, then maybe. But oh, I see. Yeah, DeJohn said my phone is how I miss a lot of trades. 13 Pro Max. Yeah, you have a pretty big screen. I have the same phone as you too. I could trade on my phone too, but it's just too quick, so I don't want to risk it. Patrick again with some more profits, currently at 4,272. All wins, no losses for the day. Great work, Patrick. Looks like you caught that that SR scalp too. Nice. Looks like a lot of you guys actually caught the trade right here. So if you guys are not familiar with what trade they're talking about or what trade they took, there was a wick rejection off the structure right here. It was a moderate red candle. Trend meter is red. Momentum was red. This was where you take the sell, and it went straight to full TP. That's the one that Patrick took right here, locked in 1,050. So solid work, guys. Let me see if there's any other profits here. One more from C-Suit before we wrap it up. C-Suit locked in a total profit of 20,423 for the day. So amazing work right there, guys. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I think this will be it. The market was a bit wacky today. Unfortunately, it happens sometimes where the market is either not moving smoothly or it's just not volatile at all. Like today was not volatile at all. It was really difficult to cash, some solid entries. So, all right, guys, other than that, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me at sean@kodikaitrades.com. Otherwise, you guys are free to message me on Telegram as well. Probably the fastest way for you guys to get in touch. But yeah, I think that's about it. If there's anything else that you guys want to cover, feel free to send me a message. Otherwise, we'll pick back here tomorrow, same place, same time, as we continue on with the trading week. So, all right, guys, that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, have a great rest of your morning, and I will see you guys here tomorrow for the next